Dear diarrhea, diarrhea full of shit. Just play along with myself and I, no one else. Hey, I'm so legit. I ain't got nothing to say, so I figured I'm say some shit. Um, Last and definitely least. Well, first in my whatever, but those because it gets you going, but then don't with your with your ass now. Hibbery dibbery. Don't bother trying to learn shit like that. And yes, I'm saying this, for all the rest of my hoes, what? Because it is what it is. Bundle Baby, I've always wanted to visit New York. That's where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live. So, yeah. I mentioned I always give a different name when I go through the cafe place. Starbucks has some good shit. Their sizes are stupid. Tall, grande, and like venti or some shit like that. Because she handed me some shit, and I'm like, "You sure this is a grande?" She's like, and everyone said, they're speaking Portuguese and shit because they want to be all sophisticated. So, whatever. But like I said, Carl the caterpillar farmer, and then I elaborate on that when I get up there. To be interested in buying caterpillars? You have any idea how hard it is to herd caterpillars? It's a patient man's game. That's why I don't hurt them. I put them in a bucket and move them to where I need them. And Henry the happy, handsome hug ninja, and all that. Oh, Larry the love doctor. Just stupid shit. They handed me a straw. I don't need one of those. These things suck. Give me a marker. I got a pen, but I don't want to use your ink writing it down there. Save it for later. Pull up. You got my straw? You know, just fuck up. I have nothing else important to do in my life right now. Some of them are perceptive. They're just like, haha, okay, have a nice day. And some of them are really engaging. So, people, different personalities, different strokes for different folks, and all that. So, talking about the pistachio shit, which they're getting rid of and stuff. Smart people, they just got they. See, the thing is, they got teams of people who it's their job, to find new customers and marketing. See, they did the thing. See, let me give you an example. Okay, the whole condensing of the menu thing, getting rid of it to make room for other shit. How about you fucking, have your fucking engineers, or whoever, come out here and add some stuff, just blah blah, just and like I said, some of them are like, hey, oh, some of them are like, hey, whoo, but yeah, they got thinner cups, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting to save money, I suppose. The cups are cheaper because they're less plastic and it takes less time, money, and complexity to make them. Well, the complexity might be exactly the same. They just have a thinner mold or whatever they do to make the cups. But I didn't. I don't remember what I said. But it was something like that. Blah blah. Save money. And then they turn around and they start making custom straws. And I'm like, well, so much for the cheaper, cups. They're supposed to save money. These. I'm telling you, these people need their ass beat. They just have nothing to do. You know. That's how big corporations work. You know what I mean? Because like I said, the one girl was like, "So what are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh no, they got you, pretending to care too." And she's like, "No, I really, I love my customers." And I was like, "Well, management, She's like, well, "I'm a manager." Well, not you. I mean, corporate management or whatever. So it's just sort of a thing that I do. I mean, I'm not like a grump or anything, but it's like, hey, and one girl thinks it's neat and she's really engaging, and others are just like, so. But, anyway, so I'll say things, that are like in the environment. Okay, there's some rocks. I'll say my name's Rocky. There's a buffalo, so I say my name's Buffalo Joe. There's a fake cactus, so I'll say my name's Cactus Jack. There's uh, I said my name was Ziggy one time. I don't remember how she responded. But anyway, I ran through the Ninja Turtles, Donatello, Michelangelo, um, Leonardo, and Raphael, and one time she's all, "What's your name?" I said, my name, and she's all like, "What is your name?" And I'm like, um, my name is and just whatever. So, and she asks, because they can see you, "Who are you today?" So she knows my name now, though, because I handed her my credit card, and she was like, "Look at the CID," but my name was on it. So pretty sure she wants to have sex with me. I told her that when I was writing the shit down on the straw. I'm all, "Don't worry, I'm not writing my number down or anything like that." But um, anyway, yeah, you're like a cartoon, so don't even worry about that. Well, I guess in your case, because if you want to start dating dudes again, or even the girlies, it doesn't matter. Dudes, it's like they're stupid shit. They're all about the butthole because they're fucking fags, and it's nothing to do with the gays. Because it's not a choice. Blah blah blah. You get a pass. That might sound kind of weird, but it just is what it is. But so that's what's up. You got your loose pajamas there. You know, you don't have to pretend. We can be honest and upfront about this shit. You heard me talk about it, and now you're like, oh. Like I said, if you want to do it for the silly boys, caliber and quality of human beings that you would fuck with, pardon the pun or whatever, go right ahead. But your ass is too big. It is way outside the limit. There's no way you could ever, like your dick puts my, like I said, let's say thought experiment, we have us a day, right? And you're like, "I'll show you." So I'm like, "All right, bring it. Cool. Whatever." um, there's just no way. You know, your ass is too big. Well, sometimes your thighs look good, but when you like flex them up and get that muscle shit going on, it's like, ooh. I don't know why. It just is. You look like some those cows, that they inject with steroids and they're all fucked up looking. It's like what you look like. Your ass and your thighs look like a fucked up freak steroid injected cow or bulls or whatever the hell they do that shit for. Have you ever seen them? It's like, gee, because the T-bones I think are kind of like made. They cut that from like the pelvis area or whatever. That's kind of like how they get that shape. Hip bones or whatever, cow. So I don't know what they're doing, but they basically turn a cow and put enough meat on it through genetic manipulation, where they double, that's some might argue perhaps. But anyway, so that's that. Who else? Anything else? Nothing really going on. So just relax with that shit. Hippery, I'm sorry. You don't turn me on. Okay, I'm pretty sure I could be rocking an erection and you come out and nice thong, proper cut, pulled up and all that shit, and you start making them butt cheeks, move and bounce and shit. If you weren't a cartoon, maybe, but because you are a cartoon. So I'm just being honest. And I don't know how it got like that. If you did that, I mean, you've done the twerking a few things. There's no movement there, and twerking's stupid. It looks like a malfunctioning robot trying to shake out a turd. You know. But so just focus on other things in your life. Don't worry. Like I said, unless you're doing it for somebody else. If you're doing it for me, I'm flattered. I mean, as if, right? Who the fuck are you? I don't know. You're the one listening. So, anyway, you're a pretty girl. You're a pretty girl. You want me to go home and twerk on your dick? No. no, I don't think that's gonna work. You'll get offended, you know, because guys can't fake it, you know. I mean, girls, it depends on how excited they are, you know, how tented up they are, and their uterus, you know, gets out the way and all that shit, you know, and their torso length and you know how excited they are and how you work it and the angles, you know, so you don't zing her, you know, her the uterus. What's it called? The entrance. Not the uterus. But anyway, you know, and the guy gets too excited and he's lost his form, you know, and just you know, whatever. but so she's not excited, you know, and the dude is packing, you know, some decent length and girth, you know, and all that. You know, that might pose a problem. But guys can't fake it. A tall. So, anyway. Um, lubrication and all that. Guess that's so. Whatever. Nothing else. Nothing from Farkles or nothing like that. What, are you drunk or something? What was with the stupid comment at the end? Sometimes when you speak, you sit and you make yourself look bad. So, like really bad, really bad. That's kind of, you know, one of the not many, but a few problems that you have with your dating life. So anyway, but yeah, I did. I have one picture of you. I will never hump off to it, but occasionally, I mean, I have it. I might just look at it. You know, you look like you're ready to go out on a fancy dinner or something. You know what I mean? So, shit. But if I was out on a date with you and you was wearing that, you know, I'd be thinking about everybody looking at you, thinking, "Oh, that guy likes girls with huge asses," and it's like, no, that's no. This is just something that I sort of tolerate and put up with. So, is there any way you could reduce that? You know, like I said, I don't know how the fuck it got that big, but shit. And maybe you're like, no, it's a part of who I am. Okay, well. I guess that's it. And I don't think you could win me over. Like if you love bombed me or shit, I'd be like, whoa. I just, you're intolerable. You just, I'm sorry, Ebbery Debbery. You don't know I exist anyway. You know? Oh, don't start that shit. Damn it. And you like openly admitted you can't cook shit. You can't make a bologna sandwich. You know, because you were born like with a butler, you know, that brought you all the food and stuff. Do you have any desire to do that? Learn how to, you know, be a good girlfriend, wife, and maybe someday mother. Remember how bad you wanted kids? You know? We'll grow together. I want 15 kids and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, like I said, yeah, it's all just stupid shit. You know, like Farkles, you know, we'll do the hookups, you know, like I said, realistically shit. Oh, she'll make somebody a trophy wife someday. Oh, why not me? I'd at least stay married to her and then divorce her and take half her money. And I'd be fair too. I wouldn't be like, yo, I'd like if she's got, you know, shit. We'll just say 20,000 to her name, or 20 million at her age and whatnot. Yeah, whatever. You know, I wouldn't be like, I'm taking 10. I'm entitled to it. I'd be like, hey, you want to give me $1 million? I'll never bother you again. I'll never call you. Not know nothing. You know. See you, Saranara. Saranara. Marinara sauce. So, anyway. Good luck with your life. I wish you the best, I do. So, bundle baby, you're going to be the easiest. That's going to be awesome because just no strings attached. You know what I mean? You might fall for me. You know, like I said, I won't fall for you. I can. Like I genuinely can. And then all of a sudden, in the matter of, a split, second, I cannot. Like I never did. So, anyway, like I said, it's a good thing I'm a good guy because I might be a sociopath. But that's not true. I can, I have empathy. I put myself in other people's shoes all the damn time. I look at the big picture, solipsism, all that shit. Whoo, you kidding me? Like my brother-in-law, like he's that guy. God, he's just so selfish. It's amazing. He just absolutely cannot see past his world. And his world would be completely different. I mean, he married into a damn good situation. So, and I'm not going to talk shit about him, but I mention him because I think of that. Like, that's a genuine thing. Like, if his life depended on it, he would die. If he, had to think outside of his box. So, anyway. But yeah, bundle baby. You'll be thinking, we'll be cuddling in bed or whatever, and you'll be thinking, I could get used to this. Could you? All right. Like I said, we won't say anything to each other all day and then ravage each other in passing, get cleaned up, then go out on the town. Come back, make some, minor sweet lovey-lovey, and in the morning have at it again. So, and that'll be the more, assertive, love making, We'll just do that fucky shit, and then we'll do the lovey shit, and then in the morning we'll do the assertive lovey. Where I hold your hands down, against the mattress, so it doesn't really hurt. But it's your wrist, I'll hold it down with my palms, so you got the pressure going on there. It's with your ass now. So, yeah, you'll be much nice, and things will just be nice. Farkles, that'll kind of be a disaster. That's her problem, not mine. So, and then of course there's my future wife. She lives in fucking Chicago. She posted a video recently. She's all, like I said, they do that. They do each other up, and they're still like in costume, But I don't know how many, she's got in the queue, so to speak, as far as that stuff. But I believe that was her apartment. So that's like where she lives. Oh, fuck. It looks like she lives. Oh, yep. She probably doesn't even own a car where she lives. Oh, fuck. But anyway, like I said, that's why the convenience or inconvenience fee. So anyway, I won't really charge her that, but yeah, it'll be neat, Yeah, right. So, wow, your entire apartment complex is made out of bricks. No shit. For those, in the audience who are a little on the older side, it's like, yeah, that means something. Yeah. Shit. Whole damn thing made out of fucking bricks and concrete, huh? Oh, or at least the one, maybe, whatever. I'm just, so that's that. So, yeah, there's that old house there. Yeah, I fucking knew it. Fucking knew it. She doesn't live like, what's her name? Little Miss Fucked Up Her Hair. She might possibly live like in the burbs. West Chicago or Northwest Chicago or whatever it's called. It's like, okay, fine. They live in houses. You know, like what's her name? 30 minutes from here, 10 minutes from there. Okay, she lives, you know, on the edge of the city. It would appear Katie Bug lives, you know, like there's steam coming out the manholes, you know, at night and stuff and shit. Yeah. All right. You know, she goes to bed, you know, there's the light, you know, flashing the neon sign, you know, of the tattoo parlor across the street. You can hear it, you know, guzz, 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 you know, wow. Yeah. I guess that's kind of neat, you know, I'll come visit, you know. Shit. Did this refrigerator just come here? Was it here when you moved in? You know, I guess that's neat. You know, that's cool, you know. Shit. City life. Damn. You know, you hear sirens and shit, you know, at night, you know. Yeah.